I got this explained to me very recently, actually, right? The difference between a shotgun and a rifle, right? With a shotgun, if you're aiming at a target, you want a rifle. If you lock your sight in, it's going to shoot directly at that target. A shotgun is going to spray all over the place, right? And so having a plan is like having a rifle. If you have a plan and you have a target, you want to approach that target with a rifle, and the rifle is your plan.
Welcome to the Leader Diaries podcast, where your story is a diary worth sharing. It's your host, Justin Mohabir. Today on the podcast, we got a good friend of mine, I should say a brother, Duce Robinson, student athlete at Florida State. Now, Duce, I'm super grateful to have you on here.
I'm excited to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
For sure. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your story, and what inspired you to play football?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona. Both my parents were college athletes. My dad played at Florida State. He played football and baseball here, and my mom was a swimmer at the University of Florida. I've got two younger brothers who both play football and basketball. I played football, basketball, baseball growing up. And so, like I would say, I just grew up around it. You know, my dad was he was a college football coach for a while, probably up until I was 12. And so I always grew up going to, his practices, being around his players. And then once he was done coaching, once he decided, the college coaching career is a grind. And so me and my brothers were starting to get a little bit older. I was probably around 12 at the time. And he just decided he wanted to be able to spend more time around us. So stopped coaching college, and opened his own sports performance business. We moved out to Arizona. He was coaching at Iowa at the time. But yeah, he started his own sports performance business. So yeah, it's been all I've ever known, really.
So it's pretty much in your DNA. Both parents play sports, so it's only right that their children will grow up playing some type of sport. So at what age did you realize that you could play football at a higher level?
Yeah, it's funny. Actually didn't play tackle football until I got to high school. The coach saw me when I was playing flag football in like 7th grade. And then through my 8th grade year, we started to form like a real relationship. And he just had me come out and do spring football with the varsity guys when I was still an 8th grader. And then I started doing 7-on-7s with the varsity team and everything. And as a freshman who had never even learned how to strap his pads up before, they sent me out there on the varsity team. And so that was pretty cool. That was for sure a blessing. I had a pretty decent freshman year. I only played 5 games my freshman year. I had broken my wrist. I had to get surgery on it. So that shut my freshman year down pretty short, but kind of got my feet wet, knew I could play, but like I wasn't sure how good I could actually be. And I just kept going, kept getting better through my sophomore year, which was my COVID year. So we only played 7 games, but, continued to get better and just try to keep building on myself. And then junior year hit, and I was fortunate enough to have a really good junior season. And that kind of told me like, okay, I might be able to do this at a high level. And then senior year was just a really fun year. And yeah, so it's been an interesting path, but it's been a really fun one though.
Yeah. So like growing up, were you always like the tall, big kid, like playing sports?
Yeah, I've always just been a head taller than everyone. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Did you like grow all at once? Cause like some people, they grow freshman year, they're already at their max height. And then some people, they get a growth spurt in high school. What was it?
Yeah. No, I never really had a growth spurt. I've always just kind of steadily been tall.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but God blessed me. God told me I was tall my whole life. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. And then you also played baseball too. So you played baseball before football. Was that like your first love in a sense?
Yeah, baseball's always been my love, honestly. Like I would say baseball is the sport that made me fall in love with sports. I remember I lived in Dallas from the time I was born until like kindergarten. And I used to go to Texas Rangers games. I don't know if you know anything about baseball, but this is when they were really good. Like they went to back-to-back World Series. They lost both of them, but they had some like super talented players. And those were like my prime time years. Those were like some of the first memories I ever had, was like watching their games, wanting to be like their players. So, baseball is what made me fall in love with sports. And then I started playing basketball, loved basketball. And I mean, I played flag football my whole life. I played 7-on-7, but it wasn't really until high school that I like truly fell in love with football.
I shared this with you off camera, but the first time I met you, I thought you were like a pitcher or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
get I get PO a lot.
yeah. Then for college, you went to USC, which is located in Los Angeles, and then transfer over to Florida State. I want to ask you that transition, like from Los Angeles to Tallahassee, two completely different sceneries.
Yeah, it was a complete 180 from anything I had ever been used to. I being from Phoenix, being from the city.
Yeah,
Then I moved to LA. Um, it's always stuff going on. And USC was fantastic. Like I loved my time at USC and I'm super grateful for my time at USC. But there's just so much stuff going on in LA outside of just the school. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you've got 10 professional teams across 4 sports or whatever. Across all like the major 4 sports, there's like 10 professional teams within the span of 20 miles of each other. There's an entirely other, Power Four school that's 15 minutes down the road in UCLA.
mhm,
And that's not even including like the Hollywood, the entertainment side of LA.
yeah,
USC was just so low on the totem pole in terms of things people cared about. And then you
yeah,
come to Tallahassee and, it's the capital of Florida, but everyone cares more about Florida State than they do the capital. You know what I
right.
mean? People at the capital care
Mhm.
more about Florida State than they do about the stuff that goes on at the capital. So, it was really cool. It was really eye-opening for me to see what it's like to be in like a true good college town. It's been fantastic, man. Like Tallahassee's a great city. Florida State's an incredible school. I'm really happy to be here.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about your experience playing football. What's that feeling like when you score a touchdown or you have a big play and like the crowd is going crazy?
It's pretty sick, man. Like it's interesting because you don't really hear the crowd when you're like actually playing. Like when you're mid play, you don't hear anything. You don't hear the crowd. But then like hearing the crowd pop after you make a big play, like I would say it's really, really special. I mean, aside from like hitting a home run, I don't know if there's anything like scoring a touchdown, like any greater feeling than scoring a touchdown in front of 90,000, 100,000 people.
Mhm. Now I have to ask, like, do you have a touchdown dance? Like, are you practicing a backflip? Maybe you hit a split. I know that's good.
Man, I'm not a big dancer. I wish I had it in my bag. I wish I could
Yeah,
be a dancer, but for some reason, God just didn't make me to be a dancer. He gave me a lot of blessings, but he did not make me be a dancer.
yeah. No, that's valid for sure, for sure. What are some mandatory habits that help you succeed at a high level?
Starts with having a plan and sticking to that plan.
Mhm.
Um, like you have to if you don't have a plan, your life is gonna be chaotic. If you don't have a vision, right? A vision just eliminates everything. A vision is like a pathway, right? I got this explained to me very recently, actually, right? The difference between a shotgun and a rifle, right? With a shotgun, if you're aiming at a target, you want a rifle to, if you lock your sight in, it's going to shoot directly at that target. A shotgun is going to spray all over the place, right?
Mhm.
And so having a plan is like having a rifle. If you have a plan and you have a target, you want to approach that target with a rifle. And the rifle is your plan, right? Because it'll take you right there. If you don't have a plan, if you have a bunch of distractions, you're spreading your time out, right? Like you're spreading the time out, which is what a shotgun does. A shotgun is going to spray bullets all over the place and it's going to have a very low impact.
Mhm.
Whereas if you're dedicating, or if you're solely focused on one thing, you're going to spend all of your time on that, or you're going to spend as much time as you're willing to give towards what you love. Like, as much time as you're willing to give towards what you want, like you're going to. And so that's what's having a rifle's like, and you're going to have much more of an impact on that target with a rifle because you're not spraying everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a part of success. It reminds me of this book I'm reading. It's called like Atomic Habits.
Mhm.
It's about getting 1% better every single day. You don't have to do a lot one day and then next day a little bit, just do a little bit every single day.
Mhm.
So what does that mean? The power of consistency, right? And I think too, when it comes to planning, it's not just about, writing a plan. It's about putting the plan into action. Because if you don't put the plan into action, no fruit is going to be produced. There's no fruition, right? So leaving on that thought, how would you advise people who have a plan, but they don't execute on the plan?
Have to remember why you wrote the plan in the first place or why you have the plan in the first place. Like what I do a lot is like, especially when I don't want to do something, I just think back to why I'm doing it, what I'm doing, right? So like my why is my family. Like they sacrificed so much for me to be able to be where I am today that like I would be being selfish if I didn't try to be the absolute best version of myself every single day, whether I want to or a lot of days when you don't want to, right? Like you have to, in my personal opinion, like in the times where you might be struggling to execute or stay consistent, you have to remember exactly why you're doing it in the first place.
That's good. It reminds me of what Tim Tebow said. He doesn't talk about being the best, but being the best version of yourself. And what's the
Hmm.
difference, you may ask, right? Being the best version of yourself, that's what you should be doing, right? You need to be a good steward of the relationships, the talents that God has given you. And that looks different for everyone. Right? It looks like for Duce is different for Justin. And it may look different for the audience, right? Because we each have different stories. We each are our own person. So that's powerful, man, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really good because you also don't have control over anyone else. Like
Hmm.
if you are always focused on what other people are doing, you're taking away time from focusing on yourself. And you can't control anything outside. Like you can't control people's perceptions of you. You can't control whether what people are going to work hard or not. You can't control how people are going to perform. Those are all things that you can only control about yourself, right? And so if you're like any time focused on what other people are doing or the perceptions of others or whatever it may be about someone else, or that's time that you are taking away from being able to be the best version of you. I can't be the best version of Justin. I can't. Justin can't be the best version of Deuce because we aren't the same person. We live completely different lives, right? And so like you have to focus on being the best version of yourself. And if you do that without fear of, what other people are gonna think or trying to be someone else, like if you can do that without fear, you're gonna be much more satisfied than just trying to chase the best overall.
Nah, that's powerful. It's been the hardest adjustment in your football journey so far that people from the outside don't see.
My like freshman and sophomore year of college, I really struggled with like confidence issues on the field.
This episode is brought to you by Gabrielle's Creations, your go-to for custom shirts, tumblers, and personalized gifts. Whether you're building a brand or celebrating something special, she got you covered. Tap in with Gabrielle's Creation and bring your vision to life.
Didn't like I knew I could catch the ball, but I didn't believe that every was thrown to me, I could catch it. And so I would spiral really easily. I was worried that everyone was judging me. Whenever I dropped the ball, I was always worried about what everyone else was thinking, what the coaches were thinking about me, what my teammates were thinking about me. I thought I was a failure. And so, I had to try to dig myself out of that hole. And it's still something that every once in a while will come up and I'll still have to deal with it.
So how do you like handle those like nerves like before the game?
If it gets overwhelming, I have certain like breathing exercises I'll do. I'll do like the box breathing, the in four, hold for four, out four, hold four. And I'll just repeat that a couple times. That usually helps to calm my nervous system down, calm my brain down a little bit, get it going. I always pray. I don't want to pray for success of the game. I usually trying to thank the Lord for the opportunity he's given me because, you know, I I didn't deserve any of this. I worked really hard for it, but the Lord opened all these doors for me. He opened all these platforms for me. He gave me the talent to even, be able to work hard in the first place. I just more so try to go into it with a grateful mindset, no matter what, win or lose, like it's always a blessing. Like I get to play football at Florida State University. If you would have told my 5-year-old self that, I would have thought you were lying to me. I would have thought there was no chance. And so I just always try to go in with a grateful mindset, knowing that like the Lord doesn't judge you based off your successes and your failures. He judges you off the person you are. He judges you off the goodness of your heart. So, whatever we do on the field is kind of irrelevant in his eyes. It's really cool to be able to do something really good. It's really cool to be able to have a really good game. And obviously, I want every game to be a really good game. But like I said, like whether I have 200 yards in a game or whether I have 0 yards in a game, I'm still gonna be thanking him.
You have a great mindset, approaching like situation as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity for you to develop yourself, an opportunity that challenges you. But on the other side, you're gonna grow as a person, and you're a man of your faith. When I first met you at Bible study, introducing yourself to me as Duce. And I'm like, okay, that's a cool nickname. His name probably like Devontae, Deshaun, Duce probably the nickname or something. I want you to know this, like from like brother to brother, man. When I see Duce Robinson, I see the person I met at Bible study, man.
I
That's the person I
appreciate you, bro.
see. I don't see Duce, the football player. It's been a blessing just to, meet you, bro. And, you're a sharpener, bro. Every time we talk, I always told you, man, like you got a lot of untapped potential, and I see God doing a lot in your life, like outside of football, man. So keep being an inspiration, man.
I really appreciate you, Jay. Thank you, bro.
For sure, man. So what has adversity taught you about yourself that success never could?
The most obvious thing would be success brings complacency. Success, once you have success, it's human nature to either assume that you've made it or assume that what you've been doing is enough and there's no need to, there's no strive for more because you've already got it all figured out. Adversity teaches you very quickly that you don't have it figured out and you are a very long way from figuring it out. No one in this world has ever had it figured out. Like Tom Brady doesn't have it figured out, and Tom Brady has 7 rings.
Adversity reveals to a man who he is. So talk about leadership. How would you define leadership? And do you believe everyone is called to be a leader?
Leadership is like the ability to, one, be the example for others, but 2, to also be able to tap into others and unlock the best qualities of themselves. Leaders tend to be some of your most talented people in terms of like whatever it may be. You're not going to have someone who's a leader who's also bad at what they do because that's just unreliable. You don't have people follow you, but I think leaders tend to have qualities that bring people to them and make people want to follow them. And so, I would say that's what being a leader is. I do think everyone's called to be a leader through some way or another. Like some people, but everyone has their own unique leadership styles. Like you're never going to find someone who's exactly the same leader as another. Some people are more vocal leaders. Some people are more like they want to lead by example. Some people are leaders who are really good at tapping into what others have, the potential others have. Some people are really good at just motivating. There's leaders for literally, everything. And so I think I think God does call everyone to be a leader in some form or another. It's kind of just about figuring out what leadership form or like in what way are you going to be a leader.
Yeah, leadership is broad for sure. And John Maxwell, he said leadership is influence. So we all have influence, right? Whether it's being the captain of a football team or being the CEO of a company or simply just being the big brother in your family, right? So what does leadership look like in the locker room?
Leadership is being able to rally people around you. And then it's also, I think leadership starts by you have to be willing to be the example. You can't have someone who says they're a leader that's, showing up late. You can't have someone who's a leader that's not doing what they need to off the field or on the field. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's always going to start with being willing to be the example. And then, from there, you're able to bring other people along with you.
Right. You got to lead by example for sure. And I think even before leading by example, you have to be able to lead yourself. Because if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead other people. If you are leading by example, you have to be a person of your word. Because a lot of people, they lead by their word, but they don't lead by action. So that's important. Because it's so easy just to talk, but not walk it out, not execute it. How do you like earn trust in the locker room?
Consistency, like day in, day out. You just have to, they earn respect by always being where they need to be. They earn respect by doing extra work. They earn respect by being a dog on the field. Like you earn respect through a lot of different things, but it's kind of just about showing up and doing the work every day.
All right, now we're gonna do lightning rounds. Just whatever pops up in your mind, you just answer it.
All right, let's do it.
What was your hardest adjustment to college football?
Speed of the game.
What was your hardest workout in college?
Probably my first tour of duty at Florida State.
What did that consist of?
It's like, it sounds pretty simple, but essentially there's like 6 stations laid out and you're at each station for 10 minutes or something. And you're split up into groups and it's essentially like it's basic drills, right? Like it's a relay, it's mat drills, it's ladders, but you're just going rapid fire for 10 minutes straight. You don't really get breaks during tour of duty. And so it's like our you know how teams have like a hell week or whatever. Like it's that format, it's that idea, but ours isn't a week. Ours is like 2 days throughout the week for 5 or 6 weeks.
Best advice a coach has given you?
You can't control what other people think about you.
Moment you realize this level is different.
We were playing like San Jose State or something, and I caught a screen and got popped. And I mean, that's against San Jose State. I was a little freshman. It was like my first game ever playing. And so, yeah, that's when I realized college players are a little bit different than high school.
One word that defines your time at FSU so far?
Incredible.
What's one message you have for Florida State fans next season?
I'm really excited to be back. Y'all are going to get everything out of me. And I'm really grateful to Tally for embracing me with open arms.
When the clock hits 0, how does Duce Robinson want to be remembered as?
I just want to be remembered as like a good person. I want to be remembered as someone who loved God, you know, someone who cared about the people around him, you know, someone who was a good, like, role model. Like, I want people to be able to look at their kids and say, like, hey, this guy's doing stuff right. And so, you know, that's kind of how I want to be remembered. I just want to be remembered as a good person. But yeah, just a good person.
Well, I appreciate you, Duce, hopping on the podcast, Leader Diaries, where your story is a diary worth sharing. And remember to be present where your feet are being planted. Stay tuned for more episodes.